I will like openly share that I use business mentors wouldn't say every 6 or 7 months, but maybe once a year. And I always try to zone in on people with a particular niche and someone that maybe I don't have the problem, but maybe they might see a problem. And I think it's a great tool. I found it really, number one, it takes you out of the business for a day and you have to focus. So you have to just, everything else that you thought was more important than that day is no longer important. It's focus of the minds, takes you out of business, puts you into an environment that, no interference whatsoever. And then it's a kind of a reset button to say, well, why are you here and what are you doing? And it's not a come to Jesus meeting by any means, but like, if you only ever get one nugget of information out of those, what is what I've learned. Even if it's just one thing, that's more powerful than anything. That's something that you hadn't got last year, the year before, or from the get-go. And I felt
and imagine getting that piece of information every week, every 2 weeks, or every month, depending on how often you're actually, to have somebody be able to remove those blinders for you and just give you a little bit more sight as to, what's ahead of you.
But I suppose the argument I'm hearing people saying that are listening to the show is like, I don't have time for that. And, I'm flat out on the job. And if I'm not on the job doesn't get done and blah, blah, blah.
It is true. And the way I see it is it's a mindset, because when I work with my clients, this is the biggest thing that gives me satisfaction is that, like, I was speaking with one of my clients yesterday and she was like, she actually went for a nap in the middle of the day because her office is in her garage outside of her house. And she just snuck off in the middle of the day and had a nap because she could. Like, she's realizing that when she learns how to delegate, when she learns how to put things in processes in place, some of her people can take on those responsibilities and you get your time back. Like, that is the biggest thing is getting your time, and you need to prioritize it and you need to make it happen. You need to commit to it. Until you're ready to commit to it, it won't happen.
It's kind of a maturity thing, I think, Carly, as well, that I found that, we're all full of energy and we're all gung-ho at the start for the first couple of years, and then we start realizing, when you get more mature, kind of, well, what's important that needs to be done and what's not so important. And if you're in the middle of something, what I found as well, if you're in the middle of something and the phone rings, that person's ringing you because in that moment of time they felt that they want to talk to you, but you mightn't be ready to talk to them. So, like, why take the phone call?
Well, that is a really interesting point. I think it depends on your position, how you set your business up, and what your obligations are, because I would say one of the biggest issues that we have in our industry is people who don't respond, that don't answer the phone. And I think and don't get back to you for some extended period of time. I think the customer service is really poor and it suffers. And I think, so if you are in a position where your business is organized and you have, nice block schedule that you follow and you are answering your clients at a particular time when you're going to do it, then I think doing that is fine.
Yeah.
Your time is your time. However, if you're flying by the seat of your pants in emergency to emergency and you're still not answering the phone, I think if everything else is grabbing your attention, you may as well tend to your customers that need your attention at that moment. So I think it depends. It depends.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's a brilliant. I totally resonate with that because, there's no excuse not to answer the phone unless it's important. So how do you triage what's coming in such a way that it's not going to be, because how many people have got, and I'm sure people will listen to this and going, oh my God, I shouldn't have answered that phone because now I've got 15 minutes listening to absolute nonsense that's not going to make me money, or that's not going to make me progress, and I'm going to lose my traction. Yeah, customer is important, but like, there's very simple softwares out there now for automations that you can automate all this stuff. You don't even have to have a front of office anymore. You can have dial 1 for accounts. Well, then it's an accounts query. It's gone to accounts, dial 2. And this is all very accessible tools. I think we get stuck into this. Well, my phone is my business and my business is my phone. And it's just nonsense, absolute nonsense. Like, I'm actually glad we're having this conversation, because if you had one thing to take away from the podcast today, is how do you automate the inefficiencies, or how do you remove or triage the important stuff from the less important stuff, from the medium important stuff. And if you're answering the phone, as you say, and it's reactive, that means your business is reactive.